I think we're streaming. Hi. I'm going to verify that we're streaming because I don't trust myself to set things up properly. Let's just go to Optimal Play on my phone. Well, would you look at that? We're streaming.
I think we're streaming.
Yep, there we are. Hey, hi. I'm Brandon. It's a late night stream. It is almost 11 o'clock on the dot Pacific time. So I don't anticipate we have a lot of live viewers, but I'm kind of a night owl. I'm Brandon, by the way. And I wanted to just get back on and continue the Astro Knights Eternity campaign that I started streaming a couple nights ago. These are informal stream style videos, our regular YouTube videos. I put not a lot of effort, but there's some editing and also more proper introductions and explanations and things. This one's just me playing some Astro Knights Eternity because the game comes with sort of a campaign that you play as you unbox the content, and I didn't want to make videos of that campaign, but I also didn't want to like waste it. So here I am playing it. I've got whiskey in my Optimal Play glass. It was a Christmas gift a few years ago. Birthday gift maybe? Who can remember? Whew. I gotta remember to take a sip of whiskey before starting the stream so that I don't have a big recovery from the first sip kind of moment. Okay. Well, let me... Oh, Kyle Critelli. Hi. I see you in the chat. Nice to have you here. All right. So, where we left off, we had been reading the very long-winded narrative that goes with this, and our characters seem to be... This is in the future compared to the previous Astro Knights box, a couple generations in the future, and these are kind of just like salvage... I was going to say salvage pirates, that's not a thing. But we're following a little crew aboard a ship that they've kind of thrown together from salvage, and then they're out there in space looking for more things to salvage. And they met Zach, a familiar face from the first box, and I guess the only one who can live long enough to be here, being that they're a robot. So around the time we met Zach and were told that the Astro Knights, using the kind of power core thing he provided them, that they could be Astro Knights, Big Boss showed up. We crushed him. It was a giant Yeti thing. It was a good fight. It was fun. It was kind of easy. The chat last time told me that this Astro Knights box is more challenging than the previous one, which I thought was kind of easy, but also I was playing it on the baseline difficulty because Aeon's End is so hard, and that's what I'm used to there. I don't like to criticize Astro Knights for being easy because it does give more and more interesting difficulty settings, but anyway. For now, I'm still playing the Expedition as it instructs me to on kind of the normal difficulty. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got some story that I'm about to read. I'm also now realizing that I reset the supply decks but did not shuffle them, so forgive me, I'm going to be shuffling while I read. We'll do some multitasking here. So here's where the story picks up. The flight to the Galactic Bazaar is noisier than Caleb is used to. Sana keeps a steady barrage of questions about the Astro Knights that Zach can barely answer before they're bombarded with 3 more. Caleb does his best to pretend he isn't listening. You went inside the Death World? Sana squeaks, leaning so far forward she almost falls out of her chair. It was the only way to defeat it. Zach stretches out a hand to the stars, rushing past the cockpit window. Caleb can almost see the fabled monstrosity out there, the glinting flash of its metal spikes shadowing entire planets with its immensity. His fingers tighten around the control column, picturing the daring flight. Up, down, barrel rolling, narrowly slipping between grinding gears and certain death. Christina directed us towards the only weak point, an unguarded ventilation shaft in the mechanism. You could have died, Caleb says, more to himself than anything. One mistake and there goes your crew. We nearly did. Zach turns their smooth, empty face to Caleb, their single green eye burning into him. But someone needed to try. Caleb purses his lips, meeting Zach's gaze for a long moment before finally looking away. We're here. The Galactic Bazaar is a self-sustaining space station anchored in the neutral zone between the Golari and Carrion quadrants. Carrion quadrants, that's a mouthful. It glitters with the light of 1,000 neon signs, advertising everything from food to weapons to casinos to exotic pets. Anything a spacer might want to buy. It's a familiar stop for Caleb and every other scrapper in the system, considering there's no better place to move product and no better place to spend some newly earned credits. Caleb guides the Bobcat down carefully into one of the many docking bays sticking out of the bazaar like rays of the sun. Hundreds of ships are already docked, from gigantic luxury cruisers to tiny starhoppers, and the docks are swarming with people. Caleb's never seen the Galactic Bazaar empty, no matter the time. If someone's got business, there's an open door. This place has expanded from what I have in my memory banks, Zach says, staring through the cockpit window with what Caleb is going to assume is awe, but their lack of an expression makes it tricky. Just stick close to me, old-timer, he says. Oh, as Sana. I saw Sana's name and raised the pitch of my voice. Just stick close to me, old-timer, he says as Sana ducks below decks to grab their salvage. I know this place like the back of my hand. Got a little, line break. Some time passes. Caleb, Reshi, and Sana lead Zach through the bustling marketplace, weaving between the crowds with practiced ease. The main strip is dazzling, filled with flashing lights and music spilling out of the open doors into the street. But Caleb turns away, ducking down a side alley towards a quieter part of town. They're not here for entertainment. I hope Rex finished repairing our tractor beam, Reshi says as the group comes to a stop in front of a rusting red door labeled Rex's Robo-Remporium. Caleb steps forward and knocks hard twice, the sound echoing above the distant hubbub of the crowds they left behind. Rex, you there? The door creaks open on rusty hinges, revealing a squat white robot. It comes up to Caleb's shoulder and stares at them with a glowing cyan eye. Greetings, Rex, Zach says, stepping forward. No, this isn't Rex, Sana whispers loudly. This is his current project, Shieldbow. Shieldbow, beeps Shieldbow happily. If it isn't my favorite crew, Shieldbow turns as Rex walks up behind it, shaking some ash out of its curly hair. He walks up to the door and grins. I hope you've got some new materials for me. And I hope you recalibrated our Baoli crystal, Reshi says, folding her arms. Recalibrated and improved. It better actually be an improvement this time, Reshi mutters. Hey, I reimbursed you for those damages. No point holding a grudge, Resh. Rex waves them all in, before turning to head back into his laboratory. The group follows him. Zach pauses to nod cordially to Shieldbow, who bobbles jauntily back. I've been cooking up all kinds of new stuff you might want to buy. I think these could come in real handy. Sana drops her bag in the corner as Caleb picks up a slim dagger from Rex's work table, turning it over in his hands. That's a real beauty, Rex says, nodding his head at the weapon Caleb is holding. One of my new inventions. I sort of had you in mind while I was working on it. What does it? Caleb's question is cut off by the noise of a massive explosion that rattles the walls of Rex's lab around them. Wasn't me, Rex calls out quickly, throwing his hands into the air. Shieldbow mimics the movement, raising its rounded hands to proclaim innocent. No, that came from outside. Zach grabs for the rifle on their back and turns towards the door. Something's wrong. Don't run towards the explosion, Caleb tries to chastise, but Zach is already rushing away, and Reshi and Sana turn to him with eyes that say they want to follow suit. Come on, guys. There are plenty of strong people at the bazaar. I'm sure someone else can handle it. We still have their star cores. Sana touches the glowing green emblem on her chest. We can't just let them go in there without backup. If everybody waits for someone else, who's going to step forward? Reshi lays a hand on Caleb's shoulder, squeezing just a bit. Come on, Captain. Where's the friend who wanted to see everything out there? Fine. Caleb snatches a few of the random inventions off Rex's table. We're taking these on layaway. As if I'm not coming with you, Rex says, already shoving weapons into every pocket he has. I know exactly what those things on your chest are. I've studied every freaking Holovid history about the Astro Knights. No way am I passing up a chance to see it in action. Shieldbow! Shieldbow beeps decisively. I love that Shieldbow is apparently a Pokemon. Just says its own name. The group rushes out the door, following hot on Zach's heels. They don't have to get far before they see it. A colossal robot towering over the bazaar, screaming patrons scattering beneath its footsteps. As the team watches, the pieces of the robot begin to disconnect, becoming their own individual creatures that whiz and fly around the panicked marketplace. Looks like it's composed of multiple semi-sentient component pieces linked together with magnetic coupling junctions, Rex says, biting his lip thoughtfully. Are they burrowing into those shops? Sana asks. What do they have against weapons and technology at reasonable prices? Reshi narrows her eyes. It almost seems like they're feeding on the energy. It doesn't matter. Zack tosses a star core to Rex, who catches it and stares back in slack-jawed amazement. It's spreading all over the bazaar. We're going to need all hands on deck. Envelope 2 is the next instruction. Add Rex and Shield Bow to your roster. Okay, well, let's open envelope 2. Tells us inside there will be 2 mats, 1 token sheet, 1 tarot card, 1 deck box, and 2 card dividers. All right. Looks like we've got, Rex and Shield Bow. When it said add Rex and Shield Bow, I was expecting 2 different characters. But they are 1 character? 1 Astro Knight? That's cool. We've got the tokens to punch out for this boss Volt Fusion, it looks like. And some dividers for Volt Fusion and Inventions. Set those aside. A new homeworld, the Galactic Bazaar. I am going to go out on a limb and say that is the one we're probably playing with for this game. So I'll set that there for now. And Volt Fusion, our boss. It is a challenge rating 5. Okay, so let's see what this says. Add Rex and Shield Bow to your roster. You may play as them for the rest of the expedition. Set the Galactic Bazaar homeworld to the side. This will be the homeworld that you defend in your next battle. Save the Volt Fusion tuck box to store this boss after the battle is over. I'm already here putting it together. Open deck 2. Okay. Here we go. Got the box here. Here we go, deck 2. I am always terrible at opening cards, but I see the little tab here that's supposed to then peel off. If you have a trick for opening packs of cards, oh, there we go, I got it. I was gonna say, I would love if you would leave it in the chat or comments. Hey, while you're down there, like the video if you're watching this. Okay. Setting aside the cards that were just the front and back of it. This says, add Rex and Shield Bow starting card, Glacial Ray, and the Shield Bow card to your cargo bay. Okay, set that over here. Add the 5 inventions to your cargo bay. We've got the Terra Key, the Molten Core, Star Cutter, Relay Dagger, and Snap Saber. Okay. Use the rest of the deck to set up Volt Fusion according to its setup rules. Okay, looks like we've got 2 types of cards here. And the rules for setting up a boss deck on page 15 of the rulebook. Sure. Before fighting Volt Fusion, each player must choose an invention from the cargo bay. How to use inventions is explained on page 29 of the rulebook, which I guess for that I better take a peek, because that's all new. Upgrades. At the beginning of each battle, starting with Battle 2 in an expedition, you'll gain new upgrade cards. Specific setup is required. So, inventions. For battles 2 through 4, each player chooses an invention from the cargo bay to use for this game. This card is tucked slightly under your player mat. During your main phase, you may gain your invention by paying its energy cost, as if it were a card on top of a supply deck. Inventions are not considered a part of the supply or a supply deck. At the end of the game, return all inventions to the cargo bay. Oh, so it's like it's a exclusive card that only that character who chose it at the start of the game can then buy, which I'm guessing they probably want to do early in the game, because hopefully they're good. Okay, so I'm definitely going to play this new character, Rex and Shield Bow. Seems like thematically appropriate to do so. And then I'll choose one of the others to go with them. Probably one I didn't play last time. I played the Captain, Caleb, and Reshi, so that leaves Zack or Sana this time. I'm going to see what these do. I'm already leaning towards Zack, though, so we get the robot squad going. Okay. If you're playing a standard expedition, you're going to fight Volt Fusion on normal. Okay, so looks like we're ready to go there. Got some trash to set aside from the punching out. All right, so Rex and Shield Bow say activate their power during your main phase. Shield Bow gains 4 health. That's kind of nonsense. So let's look at the pack. The additional rules here are start with the Shield Bow card. Start the Shield Bow card with 4 health. Shield Bow's effect will be active for the entire game. Shield Bow can never be discarded or destroyed and can gain health when it has 0 health. So let's look at Shield Bow. This says, hey, Ronaldo's back in the chat. Hey, good to see you. Shield Bow has asterisk health, but I guess starts with 4. This card is not discarded when it has 0 health. When a player would suffer damage, if Shield Bow has at least that much health, Shield Bow suffers the damage instead. Oh, okay. So you can. It's kind of. So this character is a healer, because you can keep topping up the health on Shield Bow, and then Shield Bow takes that instead of the players. Hey, that's cool. Oh, interestingly, Rex and Shield Bow start at 8 health. I've never seen one start with a track that goes up to 10, but they start lower on it. So we'll get them set up. They will definitely be one of our players, and we've got Shield Bow to go with them, however we want to set this up. And I'll even get the 4 health on there before I forget. Okay. Then I have the level 2 and 3 tokens ready for Volt Fusion. Okay. So let's. What's Sana do again? Oh, attack with all your weapons. I'm gonna go with Zach. Why not? Like I said, Robot Squad. So Zach will be our other Astro Knight. Zach has the additional rules to have the scope tokens ready. I have them over to the side here. The first weapon a player attacks with each turn deals +1 damage per scope token they have. A player can have any number of scope tokens. And Zach's power-up ability is activate during your main phase. Any player gains a scope token, or players collectively lose 4 scope tokens to deal 15 damage. Seems cool. Alright, so Zach will be player 1. They each need a invention. We have the Terra Key, a tech that says the homeworld powers up, you may destroy a card in your hand. Ooh, I love destroying. Molten Core is a 3-cost fuel that gains 2 energy and has Afterburn power up. Star Cutter, 3-cost weapon that says attack, deal 1 damage, increase that damage by 1 for each slot you have. That's definitely more interesting for Zach than Rex, who only has 3 slots max. The Relay Dagger, attack 5-cost, attack, deal 4 damage, and any ally may discard a card. If they do, return this to your hand. Okay. Or the Snap Saber, when you buy this, you place it into your hand, and on attack, deal 7 damage. Why don't I... Let's see. I actually think I am going to take the Molten Core for Zach, because I want to use his ability a lot and get a lot of scope tokens. So, we'll put that there, where he can buy that when he gets a chance. It's also a fuel, so it's a good early game buy. And for Rex and Shield Bow, why don't we go with a weapon? So they have a nice medium cost weapon, I'm thinking, to use with their scope tokens if Zach gives them some. So they're gonna take the Relay Dagger. That's a 5 cost. These 3 will get set in our cargo bay. Alright, the Galactic Bazaar. The new homeworld says activate during any player's main phase when it's powered up twice. Any player gains a card from the supply that costs 5 or less and places it into their hand. Into their hand? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that seems powerful. It's a great way to just get a lot of the mid-tier weapons. And then Volt Fusion itself. Let's see. What was once a gigantic robot has split apart into a dozen Voltlings and scattered all over the bazaar. These insect droids feed on electricity, storing it and bringing the energy back to the collective fusion. If left unchecked, they'll devour the entire marketplace. It's funny, I guess even if you're not playing this expedition with this story, the idea is you're still at the marketplace if you're against Volt Fusion. The only way to defeat the whole is to destroy the parts, but before you can fight them, you'll have to find them among the weapons and tech being sold all around you. Be careful though, don't get carried away digging through that merchandise. Because when the Voltlings don't have anything to eat, those little buggers get pretty mad. And they can pack a shocking punch. Keep track of what piles you've already found them digging in so that you know where it's safer to gather supplies, and balance between finding and fighting. Just be careful not to let too many surround you at once or you'll end up getting stung. That's really interesting. I don't really remember if I read all the scouting reports. Like that was flavor text on here, but it's actually like also advice. Kind of cool. I kind of like that. Okay, it has only 10 health. So clearly there's going to be something more than just deal damage to the boss. Setup. After shuffling the supply decks, set the top card of each supply deck aside. For each supply deck, shuffle one of the Voltlings that has a matching icon into the top 4 cards of that supply deck, and the other corresponding Voltling into the remainder of that supply deck. Then place the set-aside card face up, back on top of its corresponding supply deck. Then flip over this mat. Oh wow, okay. So, we have these Voltlings, and I'm guessing that there are 12 of them then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, and they have the supply deck icons on them, which is, this is super fun. I think this is cool. All right. So, for each of these, let's read the special rules before we do anything. Rules. For this boss, we recommend referring to the size of the supply decks chart in your rulebook. The supply must be set up in 2 rows of 3 decks each. Volt Fusion cannot be dealt damage by player cards, abilities, upgrades, or by the homeworld. Sure, yeah, okay. So it's referring to, when it talks about, saw this in the rulebook, it talks about the size of the supply decks for like bosses where it matters. So that if you're, because this boss would be totally broken if you like took the other box and shuffled them into big supply decks, which you're technically allowed to do. Then you'd be looking for these Voltlings in giant supply decks that would be miserable to dig through. Looks like that's not a big deal here because I've only set up the Eternity Boxes cards. Each time you would deal any amount of damage to Volt Fusion, you may choose to destroy the top card of any supply deck. When a Voltling is the top card of a supply deck, immediately place it into the boss play area. When a Voltling is defeated, place it in the boss side deck discard pile. Voltlings do not activate the turn they come into play. When a Voltling is defeated... Okay. So do these say on them? Okay, defeat. Volt Fusion suffers 1 damage. There we go. That's where the damage to the boss comes from. Okay, they look like easy enough to kill. They're all minions, and looks like they all have 2 or 3 health. You just want to be ready because you're adding a minion that is going to have a negative activation effect, I'm sure. Alright, well this is going to be a minute of setup, so let's see. We'll set aside this, 4 cards, and the rest. Okay. I will say my one gripe about this so far is that Astro Knights is so much lighter than Aeon's End setup-wise, and this one is maybe not. This is a lot of setup, but you know, I think that this is a really clever boss, and I'm guessing it's worth it. Okay, 4 and 5. Oh yeah, that's right. It still has a deck of cards, obviously, that will do things. I was gonna say, like on my read of it, it doesn't seem that hard. Like, 'cause there's also a lot of player card effects and stuff that destroy the top card of a supply deck. So in this case, that actually helps us find them if we're looking for them to show up quicker than they have been. And I guess we might need, especially the expensive weapon deck that you usually buy like once from per game. Definitely gonna have to do some actual digging in there. How many techs are there? Feels like, yeah, it's only 7 more. Okay. Slim deck, so that's a good place to burn through and find them if I'm just trying to find the Voltlings. All right, almost halfway done. Setting these up at the halfway point. I've officially earned a sip of whiskey. Cheers. Whew. Okay, feel like the lower weapon deck's going to be a little larger. Yeah, just a little bit. I guess these are mostly in the like 7 to 9 card range. Okay. Oh no, I forgot to set one aside to go on top, so I guess it'll be that one. Ah, the Tase tethers again. Okay. Ooh, I haven't seen Remote Detonator on this second weapon deck. Attack, deal 4 damage. Any player may return a card with bolster from their discard pile to their hand. Oh, that's very cool. Well, that'll be the top card of that deck. Then we've got 4 and the rest. Ronaldo in the chat says it's a tricky boss. Yeah, I'm impressed with the design already off the top. I think that this seems very fun and very clever. I'm impressed. One thing that I've been impressed about with Astro Knights, and I felt this way with the last one too, and maybe it's because the boss mechanics have more design space with the leveling up and everything, but I would have almost thought, because the bosses early on in Aeon's End are pretty basic, at least some of them are, in like the original Aeon's End boxes, I kind of thought this would be a lot like those. There would be one that's accumulated, actually no, there still is one that's accumulating, it's like points on a track and then triggering extra cards. Maybe they do kind of mirror Aeon's End, but at least the way that they level up and everything makes them seem different. More different than I maybe expected Astro Knights to feel from Aeon's End as far as the boss design. There's definitely, I haven't played all the Aeon's End content, but I've played a lot of it and I haven't seen one that does this, so that's cool. Okay. Here we go. That is set up. So the boss is ready. We're gonna need the boss's deck. We are playing a 2-player game. Wow. Which means 7 of its 9 cards are starting in the discard pile as it scales down to 2 players. It's only 2 cards until it levels up. Okay. Well, that's kind of wild. It's actually been, it's been a little while since I played Astro Knights with any number of players other than 4, so I'm going to double check that I have that right. Set up boss. Let's see. Shuffle the cards that correspond to your player count, make the boss deck, place the rest in the boss discard pile. Yep. Okay, so I did it right. So it's literally 2 cards before it hits level 2. And then, what happened here? Double shot. Oh no, I must have, when I said I didn't set one aside to be the top card, I think I actually did. Well, let me reset this deck really fast. We'll get those minions back out. This double shot was supposed to be the top. And then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of those, and the rest. Okay. Now we're done. Now we just need our starting decks. And for Zach, as I've already put these pegs in stupidly, for Zach they are going to be 3 power cores, his micro pulsar. Oh, where did I put the signature starting cards? Here we go. The micro pulsar and a blaster. And for his deck, 4 power cores and a blaster. Can I slot this back on without having to pick these up? That was messy. Got there. Okay. So that is his hand and deck. Okay, we've got Shield Bow in the middle of our 2 characters, protecting them. Alright, and then Rex and Shield Bow, they get 4 power cores and their Glacial Ray. Oops, that's here. Their signature card, the Glacial Ray, says attack, deal 1 damage. Shield Bow may suffer 1 damage. If it does, increase its weapon's damage by 1. That actually seems amazing. For the early game, to take out the low hit point minions that come out early, being able to attack for 2 damage on like the second turn of the game, kind of seems incredible. And then his deck is going to be 4 power cores and a blaster. So we've got those. Wait for it. Okay, nope, I fucked up the pegs. Alright, we've got slots, power, and health. Okay, that all seems to be fitting on camera. We've got deck and hand for Zach. Hand and deck for Rex. We've got their inventions, space for the boss, supply. I think we're ready to go. Alright, so boss number 2, Volt Fusion of Astro Knights Eternity. I'm excited. It's going to start off with a boss turn, of course. Alright. Voltage Drain. The homeworld suffers 3 damage. That's 10% dead already. Destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top row. Wow. Oh, in the top row. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is why I said it had to be set up in 2 rows of 3, is because it refers to them. That makes sense. So we're destroying this Quasar Cell, Perpetuum Battery, and Starwave. Yeet. And did we find any Voltlings? We did already find 1 Voltling, the Vibra Scuttle. This says when it's defeated, Volt Fusion suffers 1 damage. That's great. And when it activates, the homeworld suffers 1 damage. Any player discards a card. That's less great. Okay. That's its turn. So, next is player 1. Zach is up. Alright, well, we'll equip a blaster. And then his Micro Pulsar says gain an energy if you have 1 power or less power up. So he's going to power up for free there. And a total of 4 energy. That can buy this Ectoplasm on the top of the second fuel deck. Bolster, the active player gains an energy and return this to your hand. Ooh, that's great on Bolster and gain 2 energy. Sure, I'll grab that. I'm risking another Voltling coming up, but I'm going to take that risk. Great, no Voltling. I don't think I want to buy from that deck again until we have the one that's in play dealt with. Okay, so that's done. Zach has his new hand, and next up is Rex. Alright, so Rex will equip Glacial Ray. Between these two, we can take out the Vibra Scuttle with Shield Bow taking a damage to amp this, so that feels great. And then it's 4 power cores. Let's see, we definitely don't want to buy, I think we don't want to buy any card that could uncover another minion right now. So that leaves the Quantum Sphere. Either that or like a slot or a power-up, but I think I'll buy him the Quantum Sphere. This is gain 2 energy. Any ally may discard a card if they do gain 3 energy instead. And that wastes 1 energy for his turn, but it's gonna have to do. Alright, player 1, Zach is back up. Zach will blast the Vibra Scuttle, which I forgot to put health on, but it's from 3 down to 2. It would be really nice, because I'll bet you when this levels up to level 2, minions are going to get more health. It would be really nice to take this out before that happens, so I hope Rex gets to go next. Zach will equip another blaster and has 4 power cores. Honestly, getting scope tokens early, like getting 1 scope token early, basically doubling up my blaster damage. Oops, I should flip this, huh? Might be a great play. Oh, but you know what will help do that is Molten Core, which has this Afterburn power-up. This is where I wasn't thinking about this with Afterburn last time, but I don't want to say good Aeon's End player. I'm an experienced enough Aeon's End player that I think about things like the order I'm creating with my deck, and I think I don't want to buy this Afterburn card when it will be in the second half of my deck, right? Because then every time it comes up, I'm just about to flip my deck. I mean, eventually things are going to get out of order anyway, but so maybe I wait on that. No, I'm not going to get precious with it. Because I don't see another card that I like better. So, sure. I'm going to buy his invention, the Molten Core. And that's his turn. Next up is the boss, unfortunately. He needs his new hand. Oops, and so does Rex. Alright, Vibrascuttle says on activate, the homeworld suffers 1 damage. And any player discards a card. Well... Zach has all energy and has 6 energy. I don't need 6 energy. So, yeah, he'll discard Power Core. Okay, and the new card is Matter Eater, a 4 hit point minion that when it's defeated gets destroyed. Okay, so this will not show up on future levels. And on activate, the homeworld suffers 1 damage. Yeesh. Okay, they are... You know, I guess if the flavor of this is that they're destroying this bazaar, I guess it should not be a surprise that there's a lot of homeworld damage. If I lose, maybe I need to come back with some homeworld healing. Is there a character that heals the homeworld with their power on our roster? I can't remember. But we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. Okay, that means it is Rex's turn. And Rex can amp the Glacial Ray damage by dealing 1 damage to Shield Bow to do 2 to the Vibrascuttle, defeating it. That's great. That happened right before it levels up. And so, I'm glad I just double checked this. This says when a Voltling is defeated, place it in the boss side deck discard pile. Okay, never mind. I guess that's different from its discard pile. I didn't know that there was a side deck discard pile if there wasn't a side deck, which there isn't here. But okay. Defeating that did 1 damage to Volt Fusion, so it's down to 9. And... Oh, Rex still has the rest of his turn. He has a blaster to equip and 4 power cores. For that Corona Flare that's now on top of the cheap fuel deck, gain 2 energy if you have 3 or more equipped weapons, gain 3 energy instead. It's just not that appealing. This double shot, let's get this double shot going, because if this gets amped by scope tokens, the deal 2 damage, then deal 2 damage to a minion, they would both be increased. That seems really good. But Rex is going to need another slot soon. Okay, and did we find a Voltling here? We did not. I think I'm still relieved on that for now. I'd like to take out this Matter Eater. Okay, he's going to flip his deck, take his new hand. And we're going to shuffle the turn order deck. And already, the next boss turn, it levels up to 2. And I have not looked at what that does, so we'll see if it does anything dramatic. There's a lot going on already on this, so it could just increase the minion health. I wouldn't be surprised if that's literally all it does. Okay, the next turn is the boss. All right. Well, level 2. Yes, instant. Minions in play gain 3 health. And now minions have plus 3 health. Suddenly these little Voltlings that were at 2s and 3s, now they're 5s and 6s. That escalated quickly. All right, and we are shuffling and drawing a card here. Actually, I should have done 1 damage to the homeworld with the Matter Eater before drawing, or before leveling up. And then, Voltage Drain, a strike. The homeworld suffers 3 damage. Oh, we saw this one already. Destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top row. This is hurting. I bet you this gets us a Voltling too, and we got the homeworld down to 22. I feel like this is not going smoothly. All right, no Voltling, no Voltling, oh, no Voltling. Okay. Well then, that's kind of a relief. And that's it for the boss turn. Next up, we have Zach. Well, Zach, you're definitely... Are you blasting the Matter Eater? Because you can't... I don't know why I'm speaking in the second person to Zach with you. Zach, could blast the Matter Eater, but doesn't have another weapon to play. So I'd rather wait and stay more flexible and see what else we can do here. It's just, I have 5 power. And Micro Pulsar says if you have 1 power or less, power up, but I'm not there. So I guess I'll buy this remote detonator. I'm scared of a Voltling coming up, but you gotta take that. I don't see how you can really thrive against this boss without taking that risk. So, not a Voltling. Great. And that'll end Zach's turn. It's a boss turn. Alright, the Matter Eater will do 1 damage to the homeworld, which is at 21. And then Synchron Decay. A strike. The player with the most power suffers 2 damage. Destroy the top card of each supply deck in the bottom row. Oh boy. Okay, well, Shield Bow will take that 2 damage, so that's handy. And then we're destroying 3 weapons. And we got a Voltling. Just the one. Electic. And it's a tick. That's pretty clever. I like that. Electic has 2 health, but that gets increased to 5 by the level 2 rules. And on activate, the player with the most expensive card in hand suffers 2 damage. Ooh, okay. That damage is going to start flowing. But that is its turn. Okay. So, next turn is Rex and Shield Bow. Well, we're going to start blasting for 1 to the, I think to the Electic. I guess that the 2 damage every turn to a player is scarier than the 1 homeworld each turn. Neither one's great. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 power, and I could discard a card to have, an ally could discard a card to have 7, which is pretty interesting because that could be the Molten Core for Zach. Sure, but what am I going to do with that 7? I'll discard that. Okay, so Rex has 7 power, and I should splay out this so I can see Afterburns. With Rex's 7 power, he is going to, might just spend it on power and slots. I was saying, he bought a couple weapons. I was saying, oh, but I want to get his Relay Dagger. Okay, I'll spend 5 there and 2 on a power. Relay Dagger purchased, but he really needs a slot now. Okay. I think the rest of this turn order deck is us, which is good. Rex is going again. Okay. Yes, he has 2 weapons in hand, so I think it's really simple. These 3 power cores are going to buy him a slot, and he'll equip his Glacial Ray and his Double Shot. It would be amazing to get him a scope token for that Double Shot. We'll see if that happens. That's going to be his turn. Next up is Zach with 4-card hand. They will fire their blaster for 1 damage to the Electic, and then equip a blaster and 3 power, or 3 few energy. I think just buys a slot. That doesn't feel great, but I want him to not be, or them rather, to not be railroaded on slots either. Before I end the turn, there's an Afterburn effect in the discard pile to power up. Okay. New turn order. This is already feeling more challenging than the Behemoth, that's for sure. Okay. Starting with player 2, that's Rex. Alright, what do we got? 2 more weapons in hand, so let's definitely fire these. The Double Shot will deal 2 damage, then 2 damage to a minion. I think I'll just do 2 to the Electic and 2 to the Matter Eater. And the Glacial Ray will deal 1 damage. I can amp it by spending this health from Shield Bow, but I don't think I need to here. 1 more will take out the Electic, which feels good to me. And Volt Fusion is down to 8. Alright, and then Rex is going to equip that Relay Dagger. And a Blaster. And then Rex has 1, 2, 3, 4, but if Zach discards a card, 5 energy. Zach has 5 energy. Yeah, I think he can afford a Power Core because then I can just spend the 4 energy he has here to power up. Okay, so then Rex has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy. That's... I'm not ready for... I want to get this minion under control before I look for more... Voltlings, I think. So I might just power him up twice and charge up Shield Bow? It's like between that or buying... Shoot. I've already forgotten which weapon deck the Voltling came out of. Was it the first one? I think it was the first one. Oh no. This feels important to keep track of which ones have Voltlings coming and which ones have a little bit of breathing room. I think it was the first one. And that RB7 launcher is really interesting because it lets you destroy the top card of any supply deck, which if I'm ready to go on the offensive, is really helpful. Or 5, ooh, I think... I'm going to risk the Voltling. Because Rex had 5 power, that's the price of Anti-Grav Tactics. Which, when you equip it, you can destroy a card in your discard pile. That seems amazing. And on attack, deal 3 damage, and an ally draws a card. That's too good to pass up. Did we get a Voltling? No. Oh, another Anti-Grav Tactics. I would love to get Zach one of those too. We'll see. Okay. Next up is the boss. Alright, the Matter Eater is going to eat. And then... Gold Sniffer. This has 7 health, thanks to the +3 from the level. And when it activates, the player with the most expensive card in hand discards 2 cards and suffers 1 damage. Brutal! Oh, that's rough. Okay, that's the boss turn. Zach is up. Boy, I wish he could accomplish more than dealing 1 damage here. I think I'll just leave his blaster in play again. And also equip a remote detonator since he has 2 slots. And then... for energy... that is going to power him up twice. And I'm going to use his power right away. Any player gains a scope token. I'm going to give that to Rex because, yeah, I might have based it on who had more turn order cards in the turn order deck, but they're the same. Rex has that double shot that I think the scope token is so good with, so I'm going to give that to Rex. Nice of you, Zach, to hand those out. Okay, next turn is Rex. Alright, Rex has a mitt full of power cores. So, that's not too good. But he has +1 damage to his first attack from the scope, and deal 4 damage and deal 1 damage. So 6 damage total. Just shy of taking out both of these minions. And the Relay Dagger says, an ally may discard a card if they do, return this to your hand. Considering he doesn't have weapons to play, that seems like I'm definitely going to do that. Let's just discard a blaster for Zach, I think. We can, he needs to spend his energy once or twice here. Okay, so, I think the +1 damage with the Relay Dagger is 5 to kill the Matter Eater, and this is destroyed when defeated. And then the blaster will deal 1 to the Gold Sniffer. Okay, and then Rex has... oh, wait, and the Relay Dagger said an ally may discard a card to return it to their hand. Zach did. So I'll go back to hand and we'll equip it right away. And then 5 power. I guess we're kind of ready for a Voltling. And these anti-grav tactics looks so good. I kind of want Zach to be able to get one of those though. You know, for now I'm just gonna spend the energy on powering up twice. That's going to give Shield Bow 4 more health, so that can keep soaking damage for us and can amp the signature weapon a few more times. I don't know if that was a good play. Time will tell. Okay, next turn is the boss. Alright, well, the homeworld is no longer getting devoured, but the Gold Sniffer says the player with the most expensive card in hand discards 2 cards and suffers 1 damage. Rex has a 5 cost, and Zach has only a 3 cost, so it's got to be Rex. Wow, and this is a really good hand, but it is too many weapons, actually, for the number of slots that he has. So I'm going to keep his fuel so he can maybe get 1 more slot, and discard his Glacial Ray. Pains me a little bit. Ronaldo says this dagger is so powerful. Yes, it's one that lets you recur it if at the cost of an ally discarding a card. Really just needs some bolster, and then holy shit, we'll be going. Okay, boss does need to draw a card. It is Current Breaker. Any player suffers 2 damage. That's going to be Shield Bow. Oh, and I'm sorry. Gold Sniffer, in addition to the discard, should have done 1 damage to Shield Bow. Current Breaker deals 2 more to Shield Bow. And if there's 1 Voltling or less in play, destroy the top card of each supply deck in the bottom row. Well, I guess I'm not getting this anti-grav tactics. That's generous of it to check whether there's 1 Voltling or less in play, though. Oops, wrong deck. I'll just give that a quick shuffle. No one saw that. Ronaldo asks in chat, can Shield Bow have more than 4 HP? As far as I know, yes. Its health is an asterisk that is not defined, and it says that it starts with 4. If it had a maximum of 4, I would think that it would just have a 4 on the card instead of an asterisk. That's my interpretation. I don't know. I don't see... Here, I'm going to double check the special rules on here. Additional rules. Start the Shield Bow card with 4 health. It will be its effective will be active the entire game. It can never be discarded or destroyed. It can gain health when it has 0. Does not say that 4 is a maximum. So I'm going with yes, it can have more than 4 health. Yeah, the other thing I was looking for with that asterisk there is it based on the quantity of players or something? Is it a player scaling thing? But that A doesn't really make sense, and B, I think it would have to say that. So, all right. I think that's it for that was the boss's turn. Oh wait, I have to flip these over. Taste Tethers, Atmoscope, Atomic Gauntlets. All right, the next turn is Zach. Zach is 1 short of defeating this Gold Sniffer. So how to handle this? This is annoying. This remote detonator. Well, yeah, I guess I'll save it. I think I might just blast and save the remote detonator because the relay dagger is exactly the amount to take out the minion. And so why put myself in a position where the relay dagger is way overkill? But then if another minion shows up, I'm just going to risk the overkill because if a minion shows up, then I'll be glad that I did the extra damage. So, the remote detonator says deal 4 damage and any player may return a card with bolster from their discard pile to their hand. Oh, Ectoplasm. And Zach's own discard pile has bolster. So that's another good reason to fire the weapon. And the blaster. So 5 total damage. 1 left on the Gold Sniffer. Okay, and then... Yeah, so that leaves them with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That can buy this Atomic Gauntlet, which has attack deals 6 damage. Each ally may draw up to 2 cards and then discard that many cards. Yes, please. Let me just reorder how I want these in my discard pile. I am feeling what I was talking about earlier about Afterburn causing or wanting to be in the top part of my deck. It's kind of what's happening here is making my telling me I was right. It's coming up too late to ever matter here, or to matter very much. I probably should have waited on that. Oh well, okay. Lesson learned is that I think that is important to buy at the right time in your deck. For now, though, I'm going to try to get it into the top of my deck by putting it at the bottom of my discard now. So that eventually I'll have to draw that and flip into a new deck. That's the thinking. We'll see if that works. But we're buying the Atomic Gauntlet first, so that's going to go in the discard pile before this stuff. Okay. 2 cards, 3, 4, 5, and it's a new turn order deck. All right. Making a mess. I like how thanks to Shield Bow, no Astro Knight has taken any damage whatsoever. It seems like a pretty powerful ability to just be able to almost pre-heal. Zach is back up. Okay, no weapons equipped. And a Hand of All Fuel. So he does have the Micro Pulsar that says if you have 1 power or less, power up. And then 4 power cores. Oops, I didn't flip this. Oh, and it's a Voltling. Shoot, okay. Zap Beetle. This has 3 health that becomes 6. And on activate, the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Yikes. Alright, we're going to want to deal with that. So, yeah, the Micro Pulsar powers up. I'm kind of leaning towards spending this all on power for him. I want to keep getting scope tokens, because I think that if I can kind of keep Rex, where Rex can just keep playing the Relay Dagger with a few scope tokens and just one-shot minions, like, that seems super good. So I can buy 2 more power-ups for Zach and not quite use his ability. You know what I haven't done yet in this whole game? Power up the homeworld. So maybe that's just not the strategy that's forming for the team this game. All right. Next up, Rex. Okay, so Rex has Relay Dagger, but unfortunately not 1 more scope token to do 6 damage. I hate this, but I think the play is to deal its damage to the Zap Beetle. And then they're both like 1 blaster, or a double shot takes them both out, which is in Rex's hand. Yeah, it's risky leaving the 2 minions in play, but that gets the maximum out of the damage. And then Zach can discard a card to return that to Rex's hand. Oh, and he's got too many weapons, so... So what? Yeah, alright, I guess I'm gonna... Oh, right. Ectoplasm, holy shit. Bolster, the active player gains an energy, return this card to your hand. Alright, Zach will discard that, and it goes right back to their hand. So Rex gets the +1 energy, putting him at 4. And Quantum Sphere says any ally may discard a card. If they do, gain 3 instead. So by discarding that same card, Ectoplasm, it'll bounce back again. And now Rex is at 6. That's awesome. And that returned Relay Dagger to my hand. So with that 6, I think actually what I definitely want to do is buy a slot, because there are 3 weapons in hand here, and I want to equip them all. And then with 3 remaining energy, I guess we'll buy this Corona Flare, because this is worth more energy when we have 3 or more weapons equipped, which seems like Rex is capable of. Okay. Let's get another Rex turn to knock out these minions. Oh, Zach is up. Alright, Zach, what can you do? Zach's in not a great situation. Alright, the way this is lining up now... Okay, so the only... Zach has no weapons. The only energy that Zach has is this ectoplasm. That's so for 2. The rest of this hand is weapons. So I wish he could buy another slot. But he can power up. And I think I'm going to give him the scope token. Or them, rather, for Zach. And the reason for that is that based on the current board state, that scope on Rex is not useful. So Zach has that. And... Jeez, I guess I'm going to equip the 2 incredible things. Why not? And I'm double checking because this is different from my hand's end. I think I can discard my other cards, right? Yeah, you may keep or discard remaining cards in your hand in the draw phase. In hand's end, I think you're stuck with them, so that's nifty. I'm going to discard... I'll discard both these blasters. And part of the reason I'm doing that is because I can see here that I have 4 cards left in the deck. And so now I'm going to do exactly what I was talking about, which is draw that Afterburn card I was kicking myself for putting at the bottom of my deck. And now it's at the top of my deck, functionally. Okay, next turn is... Come on, Rex. Ah, the boss. Brutal. Okay. The Gold Sniffer is going to make the player with the most expensive card in hand. Rex is 0, and Zach is 3. Discard 2 cards and suffer 1 damage. Well, I'll go ahead and discard the card with Afterburn. And 1 more Power Core. Shield Bow will take that 1 damage. Zap Beetle, the homeworld, suffers 2 damage. And a new card. Magnetic Micropulse. Destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top or bottom row. If Volt Fusion is level 3, do both. Oops, I didn't flip this one. I feel like we've actually been doing a lot of milling the weapon decks and not as much the top row. Like the tech deck, I've been stuck on this 7-cost card, so I'm going to choose the top row. So we're destroying everything up here. And there's a Voltling. Ampeater. This is going to have 5 health, and on activate, the player with the most slots suffers 2 damage. Alright, time to power Shield Bow back up again soon. That would be Rex right now. Okay. That's the boss turn. I think we should have some turns ourselves now. Wow! Spoke too soon. Holy shit. Okay. This is, I think maybe I screwed up by not taking out a minion, by spreading the damage out. So again, the Gold Sniffer is going to make the person with the most expensive card, which is going to be... They all have 0s. Oh, geez, well, I don't know. I guess Rex and Shield Bow will just discard 2 Power Cores. And Shield Bow takes that damage. And then the Homeworld suffers 2 damage, down to 16. And Ampeater, the player with the most slots, suffers 2 damage. Now Rex himself has to take that. Yikes. Okay, and then new boss card. Blastbot. This is a minion that's going to have 7 health right now. When it activates, activate a Voltling in play or destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top row. If Volt Fusion is level 3, do both. And level 3 is coming up. 2 cards away. Alright, time's flying. On this deck it's going to be level 3, and then I'm only going to have a few more turns to find the Voltlings and kill 6 more of them. Well, we have 2 here, but still, gotta get going. Also need to flip this card. Distilled Force. Wow, that's a fuel with Afterburn, deal 2 damage. That seems great. Okay. I like it. Now it's got to be our turn. Yes, it is Rex. Okay, Rex has +1 damage to his first attack. So double shot does 2 and 2. So if it's not amped, it kills both of these. So I think I want his... Oh wow, I just realized that the anti-grav tactics, I forgot I could destroy a card in my hand or discard pile when I played it. I guess it's too late. I gotta remember that next time. It has an equip effect. Okay, so I'm gonna make my first attack with the +1 damage, the Relay Dagger. Because the +1 is going to make that 5, it's going to defeat the Amp-Eater outright, and that's going to damage Volt Fusion. Next... Oh, also, an ally can discard card if they do return Relay Dagger to your hand. Yes, please. Sorry about all your cards, Zach, but we're going to do it. So Relay Dagger, back in hand. Double shot, deal 2 damage, then 2 damage to a minion. That'll take out both of these minions. Thank goodness. The Zap Beetle. The boss is down to 6 now. Blast Bot is the remaining target, and sure, Anti-Grav Tactics says deal 3 damage, any ally draws a card. Yeah, we'll do 3 damage to Blastbot, putting it at 4, and let Zach draw a card. Okay, and then Rex's turn has a Blaster and that Relay Dagger to play, and then 2 whole Power Cores. So he could buy Starburst. That's actually interesting because it's destroyable energy, a destroyable fuel, and it does look for a Voltling, which I think wouldn't mind finding right now because that could probably just kill it. So, sure. Sure, I'll buy Starburst. And that's it. All right. This is weird, and these are probably not picking up on the mics, but I heard a little boom outside, which we're only a week past New Year's, so there's been occasional like leftover fireworks. Heard a little boom and a car alarm going off outside. I'm gonna poke my head out the door and make sure that nothing crazy is going on right outside my house. So I'm gonna mute the mic, and I'm gonna be back in like 20-30 seconds. And I'm back. Sorry about that. In addition to the sound of a slight boom and the car alarm, I also heard distant sirens, but none of it seems to be happening at my house or any of my immediate neighbors. So I guess I will leave well enough alone on that. All right, where were we? We were drawing a new turn order deck, hoping to get a player turn. Nope, it's the boss. So Blastbot says activate a Voltling in play or destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top row, which I need to flip, by the way. All right, I guess it's going to be destroying the supply deck. I think right now it's a safe time to find Voltling, so this is probably helpful. This helps me find them. No. Yes, the Shock Wasp. This will have 6 health. On activate, any player or the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Oh, I will probably choose Zach for that all day rather than the homeworld right now. Because I'm not worried about player health. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Okay. Oh, new card? Okay. Player 2. That's Rex and Shieldbow. Okay, great. They have 6 damage in play. That'll take out the Shock Wasp. So I guess I'm going to do that. I guess there's an argument for taking out the Blast Bot so that it goes back into the deck before the boss reshuffles. Or, wait, did I didn't, sorry, let me back up. I didn't finish the boss turn. I didn't draw a new card. I found that Shock Wasp from the activating the Blast Bot. And then there's Chillbeak. This has 7 health. It says activate any player and the homeworld each suffer 1 damage. Okay, yikes. So now it's Rex's turn. With the Relay Dagger, the Blaster, and a Scope token, there's a total of 6 damage available. So the question is, do I go for something that would add a card to the boss deck before it reshuffles so that to make sure I have enough time? I think so. So, oh, and the Zack's Atomic Gauntlet does 6 damage, which is exactly lethal to the Shock Wasp. So, yeah, why don't I fire off the Relay Dagger at the Blast Bot, defeating it. An ally may discard a card. Zack has just discarded like everything he owns, but we'll do it and get the Relay Dagger back yet again. And the Blaster can fire to... actually, let me say that I fired the Blaster first, because then I can get the +1 damage to that, because I did not need it on the Relay Dagger. So I'll do 2 damage to the Chillbeak. Alright, and Rex's turn is going to be equipping a Glacial Ray and the Relay Dagger back, and then 5 energy from my fuel. Is there anything I want to buy, or do I just want to power up? These nano repair bots, that tech that says the homeworld powers up, any ally may destroy a card in their hand or discard pile, and on Afterburn the homeworld gains 1 health. That does seem like what the doctor ordered here. And it would potentially find a Voltling, which is fine. I think I'll do it. That's 5 energy to buy the nano repair bots. Harbonite Armor is available. Okay. And since this goes straight into my discard pile, I believe I can do its Afterburn right now. The homeworld gains 1 health. Okay, next turn is the boss again. Jeez. Alright, Shock Wasp. Any player or the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Let's give that to Zack. Chillbeak. Any player and the homeworld each suffer 1 damage. We'll give that to Zack and obviously the homeworld. And then Circuit Hack. Destroy the top card of each supply deck in the bottom row. Activate a Voltling in play. Destroy this. Okay, Circuit Hack. You are destroyed. And we are activating Shock Wasp, so any player or the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Jeez, I guess I'll give that to Zack again, but I gotta get Shieldbow. Shielding again. This is suddenly a lot of damage. Okay, and we are destroying the top card of each supply deck in the bottom row, so maybe new Voltlings here. No? Yes. And no. The new one is the Jewel Jumper. On activate, the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Any player powers down. Alright, damage is coming in hot here. Let's take some more of these out. But that was the boss turn. So Zack is up. Okay, great. So Zack has a remote detonator for 4 damage, and an atomic gauntlet for 6 damage, and a scope to add +1 to the first thing he fires. I did not give Rex his hand. I should do that. And then he's got a whopping 2 cards in hand that can pretty much just power him up a couple times, which is actually fine. So I'm going to fire... I do think that I want cards in the boss discard pile. So I'm going to fire the remote detonator with the +1 from the scope to defeat Chillbeak. Any player may return a card with bolster from their discard pile to their hand. We don't have any in either discard pile, so that's wasted. And the Atomic Gauntlet that will deal 6 damage is going to go to the Shock Wasp, defeating that, putting 1 damage through to Volt Fusion. It's at 5 out of 10. We're getting there, we're getting there. And each ally may draw up to 2 cards and discard that many cards. Yeah. Okay. Nothing with Bolster that I can discard here, but I have a few... I think I'm just going to discard 2 basic power cores over on Rex. Alright. Then the rest of Zach's turn is just going to be play the Micro Pulsar, which says if you have 1 power or less, power up. 2 total energy will power me up again, and there's an afterburn effect in my discard pile to power up. So we're up to 3 power. Good, let's get another scope token. I think at this point I'm on pace to maybe just have 4 scope tokens to end the game with a Zac ability for 15 damage to whatever I need to kill. Or maybe I don't even need it, but feels like that feels like the kind of the likely arc for Zac. You'll probably use that ability 1 time, and because it uses up the scope tokens, you only want to do it right at the end of the game. Or I guess in a terrible situation where it's like do or die. Kill that minion or you're just gonna die. Okay. So I think I have a couple more player turns in a row. It's Zac again, no weapons. But he's got a whopping blaster he can equip this time. Let's buy him a weapon. This is getting ridiculous. 5 power, or 5 energy in hand. I know I was just saying I want to buy him a weapon, but do I actually want to buy a power to use his ability and get a scope token? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to, of his 5 power, spend 2 to power up. Let's give that next scope token to Rex. And then he has 3 left. I don't... You know, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to overcharge the Harbonite Armor. So this is going to destroy the Harbonite Armor, but resolve its effect 1 time. I can destroy a card in my hand or discard pile. That'll be a power core. And an ally may discard a card. If they do, the homeworld powers up. Do we want to do that? Do we care about the homeworld powering up? No. I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. I think the Galactic Bazaar is not going to get powered up this entire game, and that's okay. Alright, the new tech card is... Oh, it's the second Voltling from this deck. Dynamite. It's going to have 6 health for now. And on activate, any player discards a card and suffers 1 damage. So much discard. That's what gets me, because bolster effects don't work during the boss turn. Okay. And it is Rex's turn. So, with 2 scope tokens, I can just take that dynamite right back out. I think that's the way to go. Relay Dagger with +2 is 6 damage. We'll just take out the dynamite. Got the boss at 4. Okay, I'm starting to feel more optimistic about having plenty of time on the clock. So that's good. As long as I find these minions in the decks. An ally may discard... Oops, I did not draw Zach's new deck. Or new hand, rather. Yeah, he can discard that Molten Core again with the Afterburn power-up ability. So, yeah, he'll discard that to add the Relay Dagger back to Rex's hand. And Glacial Ray is just going to do 1, but I guess there's no reason not to do it to the Jewel Jumper. It's about to get more hit points soon. And then 3 weapons, and here we go, Anti-Grav Tactics. I can destroy a card in my discard pile. That'll be a Power Core. And Double Shot and Relay Dagger. So Rex is kitted. Fuck out. And I have 5 energy, but I could destroy Starburst for another one, and Zach could discard a card for yet another one. And I think we're going to do both of those things. Discard Power Core on Zach, no bolster in his hand, to make the Quantum Sphere +1, and I'll just destroy the Starburst for +1. So that's a 3, 1, and 3 for 7. Because I just want to buy this sweet-ass Heavy Mecha Cannon. On attack, deal 7 damage, and if you have your maximum number of slots, increase that damage by 3, which Rex does. And we found a Voltling, the Data Worm. This is until it gets increased. It's going to have 6 health right now. And on activate, the homeworld suffers 1 damage. Any player suffers 1 damage. Okay. That is the end of Rex's turn. Let's flip their deck. Okay. Okay, the boss is about to level up to 3, but right now I have 2 Voltlings in play. I only need to find 2 more and then defeat them all. Seems completely doable. Alright. Here goes. And it's a boss turn, though. Okay, Jewel Jumper. The homeworld suffers 2 damage. Any player powers down. They're both at 0 power, so that's fine. Data Worm. The homeworld suffers 1 damage. Any player suffers 1. I guess that'll be Rex. And it's time to level Volt Fusion up and shuffle its deck. Volt Fusion level 3 says instant. Minions in play gain 3 health and destroy the top card of each supply deck. Oh boy, the rest of the Voltlings might just show up now. So minions are now entering with +6 health. Okay. So +3 to each of the 2 Voltlings in play. And then, oops, I never flipped that. But now I'm destroying the top card of each supply deck. The supply decks are getting low. There's a Voltling. The Circipede. This is going to have 9 health right now with the +6 for level 3. On activate, any player suffers or powers down and suffers 1 damage. Okay. Oh, and it's still drawing a card. And it's Chillbeak. Any player and the homeworld each suffer 1 damage. Alright, the damage is really, really piling up here. This has 10 health. That one I'm probably going to try to ignore until I win. But I really got to get these Voltlings down. Okay. Rex. Great. This is going to be a lot of damage, I think. With 2 scope tokens, I think I'll want a double shot first to do 4 and 4. So let's do that to the Jewel Jumper and the Circipede. Circipede should have 1 more damage than it did. Damn, hang on. So the Jewel Jumper and the way these numbers work out is annoying. But I guess the one that I don't want to, I want to get rid of the Data Worm that's damaging the homeworld and the players, so I'll deal the 4 there. Let me make change for this 5 since I'll be doing more to it, I think. Okay. So that was the double shot. Anti-Grav Tactics is now going to deal 3 damage. Any ally draws a card, so that'll take out the Jewel Jumper. Boss is down to 3. An ally draws a card. That'll be Zach. Ooh. Got him a good weapon. That's actually a great draw. Okay. And then Relay Dagger is going to deal 4, which doesn't kill another Voltling, but it puts the Data Worm down to 1, where a Blaster will finish it off. So I think I'm going to do that. And then Zach may discard a card to return this to Rex's hand. Unless Rex is just flush with weapons, which he's not, we'll absolutely do that. Okay. Then I'm going to, hey, look, equip a Blaster. Oh, wait, and I said that with the tone that I meant for the relay dagger. Equip a relay dagger and a blaster. Alright, I've got nano repair bots. The homeworld powers up. That's for the first time the whole game. Any ally may destroy a card in their hand or discard pile, so we'll get rid of a power core for Zach. And, okay, that's it. And then for energy rather. I don't see anything to buy here. So I'm going to, just in case health becomes an issue, move towards restocking shield bow. And let's, yeah, I'll discard them in the order I played them. Okay, next up, Rex again. Great. All right, the relay dagger is going to do 7 now. No, 6 rather, with the +2 scope. So I'm going to do it to the Circipede. And again, Zach could discard a card to return that to Rex's hand. Seems like a great idea. I think I'm going to go every turn this game bouncing the relay dagger. I guess that's what it's for. Goodbye power core for Zach. Relay dagger is back in hand. And the blaster will take out the data orb. Boss is at 2. I need to defeat this Circipede and find one more Voltling. Okay. The rest of Rex's turn. Gonna equip that relay dagger and glacial ray, and then 4 power cores. I think I was saying that I want that shield bow charged up just in case. Let's do that. Use its ability to put 4 on shield bow. And then I'm trying to track whether there could be a Voltling in this deck. Do I buy this card to find out? I guess it's probably going to show itself anyway, so I'll just buy 1 more power. Okay, next turn. Zach is up. Zach just has a blaster with a scope for 2 total damage. That's a really unfortunate amount of damage. So I think I'm going to fire the blaster at the Chillbeak, just in case this matters, because getting the Circipede down to 1 is not useful. And then Zach, because he's discarded so many cards since his last turn, just has a remote detonator and a blaster to equip, and that's their turn. Am I due for all boss turns here? No, okay. It's Zach again. Okay, the remote detonator. Let's see. We don't need to boost the remote detonator to take out the Circipede, so we're gonna amp the blaster with the scope to do 2 damage to Chillbeak. And then, wait, didn't I do 3 to it before? No, I guess it was 2. Okay. And remote detonator deals 4. That'll take out the Circipede, and any player can return a bolster card to their hand. Does anybody have a bolster card in their discard pile? No, I don't really feel like I went as hard into the bolster stuff as I did last game. Okay, Circipede is defeated. The boss is at 1. I just need 1 more Voltling and to crush it. Okay, an Atomic Gauntlet will sure help with the crushing part. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power in hand. Okay, hell yeah. So, Micro Pulsar says if you have 1 power or less, power up. I do have 1 power or less, so I'm powering up. 5 energy. I'm going to power up twice more with that. And I have the Molten Core in my discard pile to power up with the Afterburn. So he's charged up. I am going to put a 3rd scope on Rex, I think. And spend all that energy. Okay. Now there are 4 tokens, so if the game even goes on long enough that this is useful, Zach, if he powers up 1 more time, can do a 15 damage attack to take out the last Voltling. That's a nice option to have. Finally, I think there should be a boss turn here. Oops, I haven't drawn a hand for Rex. Okay, thankfully, I have the minion row back under control. So, Chillbeak. Any player and the homeworld each suffer 1 damage. So that's 1 to the homeworld, it's at 12, and 1 to shield bow. And then, new card. Circuit Breaker. Any player suffers 2 damage. If there's a 1 Voltling or less in play, destroy the top card of each supply deck in the bottom row. I'm fine with this. I need to find the remaining Voltlings. So the player suffering damage will be shield bow. And then I'm going to destroy the bottom row. Oops. Well, that eliminates the expensive item deck, or the expensive weapon deck, rather. There's a Voltling. There's another Voltling. Okay, got a little bit more than we needed, but we'll take it. That's the Beta Fly. It's going to have 9 health. And it says, on activate, any player suffers 2 damage. And the Watt Roach. It's going to have 9 health also, and on activation, the homeworld suffers 2 damage or any player loses a slot. Okay, I don't think any of these is going to ruin me at this point. Alright. Probably the final turn order deck, because I don't see us not defeating a Voltling when we get a couple more player turns. So, this is going well. Alright. Here we go. It's the boss. Alright. Chillbeak, any player, that's shield bow, and the homeworld each suffer 1 damage. Betafly, any player suffers 2 damage. That'll be Zach, because shield bow doesn't have enough to take it. And Wattroach, the homeworld suffers 2, or any player loses a slot. The homeworld can lose 2. It still has 9 left. And Blastbot. This is the one that, since we're in level 3, when it activates, it'll activate a Voltling and destroy the top card of each supply deck in the top row. Alright, and player 2. Can Rex end this? I think so. Alright, so Relay Dagger deals 4. 3 scope tokens makes 7 damage. And then our good old signature starting card, the Glacial Ray, deals 1 and another 1 if I deal a damage to shield bow. That's 9. That defeats the Betafly. Volt Fusion is down. Whew, that was a fun one. I liked this boss a lot. This is really clever with it, hiding the minions that are the key to defeating it in the supply decks. I thought that was super cool. I really liked it. All right, well let's check out this epilogue here, and then I think we'll call this a stream. It's I started this stream at 11 p.m. I don't think it's a multi-game night. Okay. Post-fight 2. Is that all of them? Sana whips her head, looking all around the bazaar. I didn't get a good count before they all split up. We may have missed several, but I think it will not be an issue. Zack points at a small gang of shoppers armed with blasters, crowbars, and other improvised weaponry, gathered around one of the Voltlings, beating it down handily. We do not need to fight them all. We just need to inspire people to work together and stand up for themselves. Caleb rests a hand on the glowing red star core on his chest. It's a comforting warmth, almost familiar now after the day he's had. Okay. He rolls his shoulder back and holsters his pistol. With that chaos, we might not be able to find you charter on a ship out of here, but we can bed down and handle that tomorrow. Oh. Zack's face is as emotionless as ever, but Caleb thinks the robot almost sounds disappointed. You are still insistent we part ways? Are you kidding? Rex's face is shiny with sweat, but his eyes are glittering and he's grinning wide enough that the light paints his teeth neon. That was the most incredible experience of my life! You want to give this up and go back to being a scrapper? I'm not saying it isn't amazing. Caleb drops his eyes, shoving his hands into the pockets of his coat. I'm just not a hero. The universe deserves better defenders than a couple of off-worlder kids playing make-believe in a homemade scrap heap. It deserves the best. Hey! Caleb looks up to see an unfamiliar person rushing towards him out of the crowd. He almost looks like a bipedal cat, with blue fur and notched ears, a tail whipping out behind him as he approaches. Please, the man says as he drops to his knees on the ground in front of Caleb. Please, heroes, I need your help. I need your help to save my people. Return? That's it. That's it for the story. Return Volt Fusion's mat, tokens, and cards to the box. You can store the cards and tokens in the Volt Fusion deck box for easy organization, or use the card divider provided, and read the next session when you're ready to start the next battle. Alright, we did it. I think I like the inventions, the mechanic, the way that you level up in this. Aeon Zen just gives you another... It like swaps out a spark or a crystal, the blaster and power core equivalent. It swaps them out for very minor upgraded versions, and they just go in the starting deck. But this allows you to pick more interesting cards. You just have to pay something to actually add them to your deck. I think that's smart. I like it. I'm curious whether there's any more inventions added in the next envelopes, or if it's just those 5. It seems like kind of a small selection, but also there's the 2 small expansions to this box that maybe add some. I haven't really gone through those. All in all, I thought this was a great boss. I like the inventions. The new character, Rex and Shieldbow's fun. 10 out of 10 game night. All right. Well, sweet. That was a good time. My whiskey's running low, and my time is sure running low. It's after 12:30 here, so thank you for watching. Appreciate you being in the chat or commenting if you're watching this after the fact, archived on the channel. As a reminder, if you could like this video, we'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to Optimal Play, it's not usually me by myself. It's usually me and my friends. But we have a great time playing through all sorts of games together and sometimes talking about them. So please do consider subscribing, because that is the best way to support us. With that, I'm going to get out of here. So everyone, have a lovely early morning, I guess. And I will see you next time for part 3 of